Welcome everyone, Marvelous Mike here today. Now in today's video, I wanted to discuss what type of products you should avoid when doing Amazon FBA via online arbitrage and retail arbitrage. On today's agenda, we'll be discussing Amazon selling products, hazardous products and batteries, cell phone covers, high number of sellers on a listing, and meltables. So with that, let's begin. The first thing to discuss is Amazon selling the product themselves. Now this is something that you're going to want to avoid, and this is something that I avoid. 99% of the time, Amazon's probably selling the item cheaper than what you're going to buy it for and then resell it on Amazon. Now sometimes this is unavoidable. Now let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Let's say that you find a product and it's working great for you. This is something that has personally happened to me. I found a product, I was selling it at $9.98, and I was doing that for about 3 months. One day Amazon decides to sell that same product at $3.99. At first, I was just going to wait it out, let Amazon run out of stock. However, they never did. So I ended up dropping my price down just so I can break even and get out of that listing, or else I was going to have a lot of inventory. The next type of product to avoid is hazardous products. Now this typically falls under dangerous goods, hazardous materials, and hazmats, and some examples of this are flammable items, pressurized items, or corrosive items. Just to name a few examples, some of these products that are considered dangerous goods are rechargeable batteries, fluids and oils if you're dealing in the automotive section, topicals such as baby skincare products, hairspray, perfume and essential oils. If you're dealing in the health and household category or the food and beverages category, you're going to want to avoid aerosol format cans such as whipped cream. And you're also going to want to avoid different types of cleaners and detergents. So what does this mean for a seller? Well, it means that you have to be responsible for the item that you're selling on Amazon. This means that you're providing the correct information such as description, the correct expiration date if needed, and also the proper labeling if needed. Some of these products are going to require an up-to-date safety data sheet, and you can obtain one by contacting the manufacturer of the product. And they should provide you an SDS file, probably in a PDF format. You can also check out the manufacturer's website. They usually have them up there, so make sure you check that out first before you contact them. The next topic that I want to discuss is batteries. Now, batteries can be an extremely good source of income because a lot of sellers are scared to deal with batteries. Personally, I have only sold one type of battery and I was doing extremely well for about 4 months, and then Amazon hopped on the listing and I just couldn't compete with them. I ended up breaking even on the last inventory that I had, but I still did pretty good for those 4 months. Now, let's discuss the types of batteries that there are that you can sell on Amazon. The first one to discuss is an alkaline battery. As long as the alkaline battery isn't damaged or past its expiration date, then you are fine to sell that type of battery on Amazon without any other information or restrictions. If the battery is a lithium-ion battery, then that battery or the product that contains that battery is considered a dangerous good by Amazon and might require additional information. Some of the information that might be required is the type of battery, the number of batteries, the battery weight, the number of cells, the lithium content per battery, and also the watts per battery. The last thing that might be required is for you to provide a safety data sheet or a flashpoint. Now, flashpoint determines the flammability of a product. This means that at what point in degrees in Celsius will the product have sufficient vapors to ignite in air. Basically, at what point will this product catch fire? The next topic that I want to discuss is cell phone covers. Now, just a word of advice. If you're just starting to sell on Amazon FBA, I highly recommend, strongly recommend for you to avoid cell phone covers. If you don't have a connection in the sense that you can get the cell phone covers very cheap or you're doing it as private label, then I recommend avoiding them as much as possible. When I first decided to sell on Amazon FBA, I figured I'd do cell phone covers. I figured there's tons of listings, a lot of different variations, and a lot of sellers selling it, so I figured I can move cell phone covers quickly. I was mistaken. I lost a lot of money doing cell phone covers via online arbitrage. That was the first time I visited, and I'm never going to visit cell phone covers again. So with that said, let's discuss the two biggest problems that I face when dealing with cell phone covers. So I'm going to give you these examples from my perspective. The very first thing that I'm going to tell you is that if you're selling cell phone covers, you're going to have a high amount of customer returns. Now, why is that? Based on my experience, 7 out of 10 times that I got a customer return, it was damaged. And then maybe 2 out of 10 times it was a completely different item. Now, the reason why I believe they came damaged so much was that the customer would damage their personal cell phone cover, order mine, then replace it and send me back the damaged one. Now, luckily, sometimes Amazon is able to catch this and they'll give you a reimbursement. Other times, you'll have to create a removal order. You'll get the product, you can call Amazon, check out their customer FBA customer service, and then they'll give you a reimbursement. Sometimes they were able to give me the full reimbursement minus the Amazon fees, and other times they didn't give me anything. So this is kind of like a hit and miss. At the end of the day, I was left with a lot of broken cell phone covers that I didn't get reimbursed on. The other problem that I encountered was that in every listing that I was in, there was dozens of sellers. Unless the brand of cell phone covers is restricted or it's a private label brand, you're going to get a lot of sellers selling that same product at different variations. The last product that I want to discuss is called meltables. Now, a meltable is a product that is heat sensitive and is either eaten or swallowed. These products need to withstand 50 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 to 38 degrees Celsius. These include, but are not limited to, chocolates, gummies, and probiotics. For most of these, you do need to be approved in a certain type of category. However, you might be lucky enough to find a listing where you don't need approval and you'll be able to sell the product as new. If you decide to sell meltables, there are certain requirements that you must follow. One of them is that if you do decide to sell the meltables as Amazon FBA, you have to do so between the months of October 1st and May 15th. If you decide to sell those afterwards, Amazon's going to flag them as meltable and you're either going to have to remove them from your inventory or Amazon's going to dispose of them. If you decide to sell it after those dates, then you're going to have to do it as a merchant fulfilled. The other issue with meltables is that you might get customer complaints. When I sold meltables during those accepted months, some of the customer complaints that I got was that the items melted during shipment, and once the customer got them, they were melted together or they didn't taste right. So with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully I was able to teach you something new, or at least give you a little more information on a topic that you already knew. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit a like on the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, feel free to do so for more informative content. My name is Marvelous Mike, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.